let's move on. Let's go to some. Let's talk some shows from last weekend. So obviously we were pumping up last weekend big time for NXT Takeover and SummerSlam. I'd like to roll into NXT Takeover.
All right.
So the good part, what I like with NXT Takeovers, it always has a cool feel to it, and they're not crazy long shows. So I believe there was 5 matches on the show, and the good part with Takeover on the network, they give them a lot of time in the match. So we'll just run through some of the matches, talk about them a little bit. So the show started off with Finn Balor versus, actually started, the pre-show had the tag match with Breezango, God of the I can't say their name. I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about. And Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. So I didn't have any notes on that match, but
I don't have notes either because I didn't watch it.
The saddest part of this match is that Mike Punga picked the winner to the match, that he picked Breezango to win, and you and I both picked Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza from I can't say the name of the group. I keep forgetting.
Well, I know what question I'm going to ask you next week when we start the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just want to say Punga's pick does not count because it was on the pre-show.
Yeah, I like the way you think.
Yeah, it's like a warm-up, right? It's like it doesn't really count.
Well, and plus he brought that match up about 4 matches into the preview, so he's disqualified from that match. So the first match was Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. Pretty cool styles clash of a match. The more I see Timothy Thatcher, the more I really like him. He's got that old school look to him with the mashed in teeth. He looks insane. I love his facials in the match. He had a lot of and transitions to submissions. Not much more to expect from that. I knew this was going to be a good match. Finn Balor has been on so many takeovers. He pulled out another win with that 19. It's pretty devastating looking move. He ended up pulling out the win in the match. Do you have any thoughts on the match itself?
I just want to say I like that this match wasn't a typical Finn Balor match. And by that, I mean there's lots of mat wrestling, a lot of holds. He wrestled Timothy Thatcher's style, and it's a side of Finn Balor that we have not seen before in WWF or NXT or WWE or whatever the heck you want to call it. So I really like that. I like that they went for something different, something new, a new feel. So as for like the winner in that, I mean, I could really care less who would have won that match. I don't think it would have really hurt either guy. It was a good opener. Unfortunately, I guess this type of match, some fans really like it and other fans don't. That's the only downfall to trying to do a match that's like pure mat wrestling, that you get a large portion of the audience that fit in mat wrestling, so it equals out.
Yeah, and the other unfortunate part in this is you and I both picked, and I believe Mike Punga picked Finn Balor, so that's terrible.
Mike Punga, the Prophet.
That's right. Ladder match for the North America. Damian Priest had a pretty cool entrance, as always. He came out in Shawn Michaels' influenced attire, which was interesting on him. So it was a interesting look that he gave. Jason Reed had teased he was going to have gear inspired by a WWE legend, and he came out in Bam Bam Bigelow inspired gear, which I thought was awesome.
I like that.
I have to say, the more I see Cameron Grimes, the more he's becoming one of my favorites in wrestling. He is so ridiculous. Like an old school type heel. Just listening to him like ramble, like even on the way there, he is unreal. He is unreal.
Oh yeah.
He's really found his niche in NXT. There was some cool spots in this match. Grimes in particular, there was a move where he was on two ladders and they separated the ladders. He was doing the splits between two ladders. It looked ridiculous. A lot of quote. Bronson Reed, this guy could be a big star in the WWE. He's his size, his power, the way he moves. He is very unique, like his look and like the way he can move. I was really impressed with him in this match. I was happy with the finish. I'm a big fan of Damian Priest. I think you and I both picked Damian Priest to win that match.
Yeah.
So I was satisfied with this match. And I have to say, Damian Priest has the best after-match celebration of anybody I've ever seen. I don't know if you caught that later in the show.
Hot tubbing?
Yep, hot tubbing. He had his Jeep, and then there was a hot tub beside it. I don't know how that works, but can't knock it. We're going to move on because I really want to talk about this match. Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone quite knew what to expect in this match. Pat McAfee, if he wanted to be a full-time wrestler, I think he could be a full-time wrestler.
Hands down.
He, even just from a character standpoint, he was unreal. His promo before the match, I don't know if he was turning Adam Cole babyface, but even for me, with listening to him talk, I'm like, man, I'd want to punch him in the face. So he was excellent, like in this entire match. Like, I don't think people realized, and I didn't, how good of an athlete Pat McAfee really is.
I mean, he was a professional athlete for 8 years.
But he was
more than 8
punter.
years.
He was a punter. I wouldn't say that he probably did a lot of strength training and things like that, but a punter to me, obviously you work out and you're in shape, but I think he could be a gymnast or like something. Like he was unreal. The big spot in the match was Adam Cole and him were on the top rope, and Adam Cole pushed him, and he did a full backflip in the center of the ring. Then ran to the corner and did the Lance Storm spring to the top rope.
Yeah.
Landed that, and then superplexed. I mean, I nearly jumped out of my seat watching this. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Adam Cole at one point had him in the figure four, and I made a note of this because Adam Cole did the whole like the old school figure four thing where he's grabbing the foot and he's reefing it back and he's got the head going, and I'm like, this is like crazy. And then they're getting later in the match, and Adam Cole is beating him down. And he's like, he goes, it's over now. This is where, and then he ends up finishing with the Destroyer, the Panama Sunrise. I wasn't finished, but I liked how he went in this match in terms of like a heated match, like an actual rivalry. If there was a crowd for that match, I mean, you would be able to sink your teeth into this live. The fans would have elevated that match even higher. But this might be, it's got to be one of the best matches of the pandemic era, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Wow.
I
don't know if I would go that far.
Well, there's another point I want to make on this because it came out that apparently they called most of this match in the ring.
Really?
Yes.
Well, all they had to do was listen to the crowd.
I'll say this. Before WWE, I was not the biggest Adam Cole fan. I thought he was good, but not in that great level. He's on another level for me now. Like, even before this match, like, he just keeps out. If that story's true with them calling that in the ring, Adam Cole might be he might be the best worker in wrestling. How many people call matches in the ring? Let alone somebody that has their first WWE match live in the ring. That's just crazy. I mean, what do you got any thoughts on the match?
No,
And
I thought
then
it was good. I mean, not as great as you thought it was, but I thought it was a good
I thought it was excellent. I thought this was excellent because I expected something good, maybe a little out of the ordinary, but it exceeded my expectations. We can go to the next match. Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai. I really like this match too. It was physical, good storytelling. The more I see Raquel Gonzalez, the more I like her too. She did powerbomb she does is disgusting. I love it. Io Shirai, if she's not the she's got to be in the top 3 women's wrestlers right now in terms of work in the ring. This match was fantastic. Dakota Kai as a heel has been fantastic. At the end, there was a showdown with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. And then there's a shot at the end of the match where Io is in the ring with the title, and you see Rhea Ripley in the background just looking at her from the stage. And it was cool foreshadowing because obviously Rhea Ripley's got to be in the main event or the title picture at some point. She hasn't done anything since she lost the title.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that match?
No, it was a match.
It was a match. And we go to the main event. Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee. Kross's entrance is worth just watching alone. I enjoy that. That's the most cinematic I'm gonna get for stuff that I like because I like the whole presentation with Scarlett singing the song and everything. I think that's pretty cool. This match was pretty physical. For a big guy, Keith Lee can get sympathy, which is really hard to do because not too many big guys can do that.
Khali could.
It's insane when he's in the ring. What's that?
Great Khali could get sympathy.
Well, maybe, but I mean, he had his run on TV where he's kissing all the girls. I don't think anyone needs to feel sorry for him.
I mean, he should be kissing more girls.
I think he's married.
Yeah, well.
To a supermodel.
Well, she's a lucky
if
one.
I remember correct. Exactly. So anyway, Karrion Kross ends up winning with like a super Saito suplex off the second rope. Looked devastating. Put Keith Lee down and ended the big run for Keith Lee. The show left with Karrion Kross being the champion. Unfortunately, that's not to last. But all takeovers, I think that again we say it all the time on some of these shows that lack of crowd really affects the shows itself. But I still think in terms of an actual wrestling show, Takeover was a pretty good show.
I thought it was all right. I don't think it was the best takeover I've seen. I don't think it's even near it. I mean, you would think that it was probably like the best ever. We got Pepper Meltzer here rating Adam Cole's matches. So
Meltzer didn't even watch that match. I listened to an interview with him.
No, I called you Meltzer. I called you Pepper Meltzer.
Thanks. This wasn't as good as the In Your House Takeover.
No,
I thought that was. But I think it was still solid. I think in terms of an actual show, it was still pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was solid too. I don't think it was anything like to write home about. Like, I don't think this was, I won't be going back and thinking, oh, wow, remember TakeOver 30, how special that was? I won't be doing that.
I think that Adam Cole match is what people remember that on that show.
Maybe. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why is that?
Because I think Karrion Kross's title win will be what people remember from that show.
I think it was those two matches. I think were the kind of the selling point for me because the build up to that title match was really good, but the build up to the Cole McAfee match was also good. So those are the two that I wanted to see on the show. But I think no, it's not going to go down as the best takeover. But again, probably would view it a little differently with a crowd as well. It's just this is kind of where we're at, unfortunately. It's still worth watching. I'm not going to go back and watch it again either, but I did enjoy the show.
All right.